Even with a discount, though, college costs are soaring out of control, and that is the topic of today's Keller at Large.
Well, good morning. Here's a rhetorical question. Do you care about having an affordable, quality college education available for your kids or others now and in the future? Of course you do. Well, if so, this interview is for you this morning. Our guest is in his 4th month as president of the UMass system. He's former congressman and former UMass Lowell chancellor, Marty Meehan. Welcome. Now that
John,
you are
great to be here.
Good to have you here. Now that you're a president, is it okay if I call you Marty, or do I have to call you Martin?
No, Marty is great. No, that works well. Just don't call him Mr. President.
Okay.
My idea of Mr. President, I don't think of the head of the UMass system.
Okay.
So.
Well, affordability obviously is the top-of-mind issue for everyone when it comes to college. You walked into this job at a time of, well, there's always stress on the state college system.
Sure.
What is the situation now? You were able to get some extra money out of the legislature. Is it enough? Are we going to see tuition and fees going up again? What's the story?
Well, first of all, we have not gotten the negotiated settlements to pay our union employees. The legislature was supposed to give us that. The House has, but unfortunately we haven't gotten that money yet. So we are a university that is dealing with some tough issues.
What's the holdup? You got Stan Rosenberg from Amherst sitting on top of the Senate.
Right, and the Senate didn't fund, unfortunately hasn't funded it yet. So we're going to wait to see what happens in negotiations with the House and the Senate. But the bottom line is, I think there's always going to be stress in terms of university and funding. But you know, you look at UMass, over the last 3 years, fees and tuition have increased an average of 1.6% a year. I can't find a university in Massachusetts that has increased fees less than that. It's always a challenging time, but I can tell you the applications to come to the University of Massachusetts have never been, they've tripled over the last 3 or 4 years. So we rank highly in terms of return on investments. Forbes magazine rated UMass Lowell, for example, 10th in the country a couple of years ago in return on investment. So I look at it as being as affordable as we can, and also we want to keep that quality high. We're a world-class university, high in the rankings in terms of our national rankings and our world rankings. We need to keep the quality up too.
Well, look, here we are in the heart of football season. And sorry to say, UMass football is not off to a good start. 1-4 so far. 3 of those losses have been huge blowouts. You're locked into a schedule that at the upper echelon of college football that includes games at Florida, at South Carolina. And the Globe reported earlier this year that the program that back in 2011 cost the school just over $3 million is projected to cost close to $9 million this year. In light of all this and the stress on finances that you just alluded to, are you reassessing some of the recent decisions that have been made about UMass football?
Well, the athletic department at Amherst has a plan to generate the revenue to support football. It's interesting, we did lose to Notre Dame, but it was a nationally televised game that 4.5 million people viewed in on. So there are some advantages, and we're going to constantly be evaluating what we're doing in football. Frankly, what we're doing in everything that we do. Athletics, in many ways, is a front porch of a university. It's a window into a university. The UMass Amherst campus has a game plan for this, and I think we should see how it plays out.
Does that game plan include continuing to play games at Gillette, which have been poorly attended?
Some have been attended pretty well. 30,000 employees, fans for a game against BC. We had close to that UNH. So I think it's a matter of building the program, and attendance needs to increase. But we also need to play more games on the campus.
Mr. President, at what cost?
I thought you were going to do that.
Okay, I apologize. But at what cost, though? I mean, you're hemorrhaging millions on this at a time when there's plenty of need throughout the system.
I think when there's a new analysis of how football is doing, it will be different than what the analysis was in the Globe, in that they're playing teams and getting revenue from that. They need to continue to build their program. Winning helps. They need to find a conference to play in, but that there is a game plan in place. There's a strategic plan in place, and we need to give that plan some time. But we don't intend to take revenue away from the academic side of the institution. The academics are more important than athletics, as important as athletics is. So we want to make sure that we continue to increase the number of tenure-track faculty members. You look at the Eisenberg School, the Commonwealth Honors College at Amherst, they have never been stronger. Academically, that's an institution that has never been held as high up in terms of reputation status.
All right, we got to take a break. When we continue, more with the president of the UMass College System, Marty Meehan. Stand by. We'll be back in a moment.